Caleb Rowan was checking the section of fence the night wind had knocked down when he heard frantic splashing from the river. At first it sounded like a log caught in the current, until he heard the heavy, desperate gasps of someone drowning. Caleb sprinted toward the riverbank, boots smashing through wet reeds. In the middle of the freezing water, a massive figure thrashed weakly, each movement slower than the last. Only when the moonlight caught her face did he recognize she was an unusually tall Apache woman. Her skin was bruised, bloodied, and torn as if she had been beaten savagely before being thrown into the river to die. Caleb didn't hesitate. He dove into the icy water, the cold slicing into him like a dozen knives. She was heavy as stone, her strength drained by injury and winter's bite. As he dragged her toward the shore, his bad knee screamed in pain, threatening to buckle. But he gritted his teeth and kept going, forcing her head above water until the river released her onto the bank. She lay limp on the wet ground, breath shallow, lips blue. Caleb saw the deep purple grooves on her wrists where ropes had been tied far too long. A slow, burning anger lit inside him. "What did they do to you?" he whispered. She trembled violently but didn't answer. Then her body went limp in his arms. Caleb carried her into his cabin, laid her near the fireplace, and rekindled the dying embers into strong flames. He wrapped her in the thickest blanket he owned, then began gently cleaning her wounds. Bruises stretched from her shoulders to her hips, and lash marks crossed her back like the cruel tracks of a whip. The sight of them made Caleb's jaw lock tight. This had been no punishment. This had been an execution attempt. Hours later, the woman stirred. Her eyes, deep, black, and sharp, opened in a panic. She tried to leap up, but pain threw her back down. Caleb raised his hands slowly so she wouldn't feel trapped. "You're safe," he said, voice steady and low. She scanned the small cabin, the firelight, the bandages. Her breath steadied. When she accepted a bowl of water, her voice finally cracked through the silence. "They beat me, tied me, threw me into the river, because I refused to marry the man my tribe chose." Caleb's fists tightened. "What kind of law is that?" She stared at the floor, a single tear sliding down her swollen cheek. "Because I am too big, too strong. They wanted children from me. I said no." Her voice broke. "So they punished me." Caleb didn't offer pity, only respect. "Here," he said quietly, "no one makes you do anything. Not anymore." For the first time, fear in her eyes flickered into something faint but real, hope. She slept until noon. When Caleb returned from tending the livestock, he heard small sounds from inside, not panic, but tidying. He opened the door and froze. The towering Apache woman, wearing one of his old shirts that barely fit across her broad shoulders, was kneeling by the fireplace, arranging wood with surprising care. "I wanted to do something," she said softly. "You don't have to. But I want to." Her presence warmed the cabin in a way Caleb hadn't felt in years. Later, she cooked simple porridge, moving slowly but intentionally. "You should rest," he said. "I've had worse," she replied with a faint, tough smile. "I do not go down easily." After lunch, they stepped outside. Wind pushed through her long black hair, revealing faint rope marks on her neck. "You live out here alone?" she asked. "Yes." "No wife? No children?" Caleb shook his head. The memories behind that answer remained buried. She looked at him for a long moment. "In my tribe, I have no one left to trust. But this place," she touched the doorframe. "This place is not frightening." Finally, she stood straighter, shoulders firm. "If you do not send me away," she said quietly, "I would like to stay." "Then stay," Caleb answered. And just like that, without ceremony, his life shifted. Winter winds howled that night, shaking the old boards of the cabin. Mira, she had whispered her name that afternoon, sat mending one of Caleb's torn shirts. Her strong hands moved with unexpected gentleness. Caleb caught himself watching her now and then, not out of curiosity, but because there was something unbroken inside her, despite everything she had endured. "It will drop below freezing," he said, closing the window. "I've slept in snow before," she murmured. "But it's warmer here." She paused, eyes flicking toward him. "It hurts, not having a man like you in my life. You are a good man." Caleb wasn't used to praise. He sat beside her, not close enough to intrude, but close enough to listen. "You deserve to be treated better than what was done to you," he said. "I cannot remember the last time someone told me that." Near midnight, as the wind grew colder, she shifted closer to the fire. Caleb offered her another blanket. She looked up at him. "Aren't you afraid of me?" "I am not like other women." "You're someone who gave me a chance to start over," Caleb said. "You don't scare me." Her shoulders dropped, a heavy burden lifted in an instant. They sat in silence, warm and close. And that night, two lonely souls, broken in different ways, found comfort in each other's arms. Spring arrived slowly. Snow melted from the roof. Mud softened the earth. And every morning when Caleb woke, Mira was already tending the fire or sweeping the cabin, moving with steady purpose. Her strength returned quickly. She helped Caleb with heavy chores, despite him telling her not to push herself. This body was made to endure, she laughed. Not surrender. Caleb found himself noticing the rhythm of her footsteps, the way she tied her hair, the soft looks she gave him when she thought he wasn't watching. One evening, she asked quietly, "If my tribe finds me, would you hand me back?" "No," Caleb said immediately. "Why?" "Because you're not alone anymore." "And neither am I." Mira stared at him, astonished. "Thank you," she whispered. Weeks later, horse hooves thundered across the plain. 7 Apache warriors arrived, faces painted for war. Myra's face went pale. "They are here for me," she whispered. Caleb stepped outside, unarmed. "You hide a criminal," the lead warrior growled. "She has committed no crime," Caleb said. "She defied the chosen marriage. Hand her over." Mira stepped out, trembling. "Caleb, don't. They will kill you." Caleb didn't move. "She is not going anywhere," he said, voice ringing with steel. "She is my wife." The warriors froze. Mira choked on a sob. An older man, Chief Kuchis, rode forward. "Mira," he said, "from this day on, you are exiled. We hold no claim over you." As the riders vanished, Mira collapsed into Caleb's arms, crying with relief. Spring strengthened. Myra's belly rounded. One morning she placed Caleb's hand on her stomach. "Caleb, a child." He froze, heart pounding. She looked up at him, eyes glowing with a softness stronger than any storm. "If it is a boy," she began, "I'll teach him to farm. And if it is a girl, she'll ride better than both of us," Caleb said, grinning. She leaned into him. "The tribe wanted me to have children for someone they chose. But this child," she whispered, "this child comes from choice." Caleb wrapped his arms around her. "And it will grow knowing it was born of love, not law." They sat on the porch that evening, the sky soft purple around them. "I choose you," she whispered. "And I choose you," Caleb replied. No tribe. No ceremony. Just two people who had been forgotten by the world, and had found each other anyway.